Hello YouTubers, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today I would like to talk to you about the new Sony A7S III, new Sony A7S Mark III, which is around the corner, and I guarantee you that it will be announced the latest in Photokina 2018 in Cologne in Germany. And sorry, I will chime down on my phone over here. I made a few notes. I don't want to forget something, so that's the reason I'm looking down. I hope that Sony will be clever enough and to fulfill the wishes of the photographers and videographers, because the Sony A7S camera was a great success, but it has a few lacks, you know, and in my opinion, no camera is perfect. So, but Sony is on the good road to make a very, very nice and very successful camera, and the A7S Mark III might be the one which will change completely the industry for Sony. Now, I have to tell you that Sony is competing over here with Panasonic mostly, because these cameras, the A7S cameras, are for video mostly and less for photos. We all know that who is the best in video. When we talk about consumer video, and when I say consumer, I would say the hobby video or the amateur video or the well, half professional, I would say, video, and that is the Panasonic territory, you know, the GH5 and GH5S. These cameras are serious video cameras, I mean, serious video features. Also the G9, you know, it's a great video camera. Now, Sony is competing with them. It's obvious that the Sony camera is a full frame camera, which it's a completely different league, you know, it's not like a Micro Four Thirds camera. And that is good when you want to use it for photography as well, when you want to use the camera like dual photography and the video camera. Now, if you are only in videography, the full frame has a few slight advantages. The example, the dynamic range of the video will be a little bit better because the sensor is much larger. But let's not forget that all the time the very, very professional video cameras, they have smaller sensors. So the sensor size is not really a big, huge advantage in video when we are talking about a video. But in the same time, it is an advantage if you want to use for photography and for video. Now, I'm not a video guy, I'm not a video expert, so I don't really know a lot about video. And all my video work is related to YouTube and my family reasons, you know, but other than that, I'm not a professional video guy. So if you want to add something to this video, feel free and leave a comment down below if you think that I forgot something, or if you have a good advice for others. Now, like I said, the Sony A7 is just around the corner, and what do I hope from the A7S Mark III? What is the main thing that I would hope? Now, for me personally, I would hope that the sensor will be a 16 megapixel or 20 megapixel. Now, and backside illuminated sensor. Why? 12 megapixel is enough, but in the same time, if you want to crop a little bit, you know, that's a problem. So I would be very, very happy if it would have at least 16 megapixel. Now, I used to shoot with 16 megapixel sensors like the Pentax K5 or the KR and these kind of cameras, or look, even the Fuji cameras, but they were aps-c, both the Pentax and the Fuji. But 16 megapixel, and I have to tell you that I was printing huge prints from the 16 megapixel, and I was even cropping in a little bit, so that's enough, 16 megapixel. But 12 megapixel, I don't know, it's a little bit small, you know, 12 megapixel in my opinion. Now, obviously it is doable, but if it would be 16 megapixel or even 20, I don't even want to wish 20 megapixel, but if it would be 20, that would be the best. I understand that to be able to achieve that very, very good low light capability, you need very big pixel sizes, and that's the reason they do only 12 megapixel. I understand that completely. But if it would be 16, you know, I would be very happy. Now, lightning fast autofocus in video. The Sony A7S cameras, they are not as fast in autofocus like the A7R II or A7 II or these cameras. They are a little bit slower. And the reason is that they use contrast detection autofocus. I wish they would introduce the contrast and phase detection, the hybrid autofocus system that they have on the A7 Mark III or the A7R Mark III, or this kind of cameras. So that's the second thing I wish from the A7S Mark III, and I'm very sure, 100% sure that many other videographers, they wish the same, these things, because it is really important in video to have very good face tracking and very good autofocus. Obviously, if you want to use manual focus in video, this is irrelevant for you. But in the same time, there are many people out there who are using autofocus for video. Now, the next thing is the battery life, but which is kind of resolved because the A9, the A7 Mark III and the A7R Mark III, they have new batteries and they look really good. So I'm 100% sure that the A7S Mark III will have the same battery system, and with battery grip it will be brilliant. So that's not a problem at all. Probably that will be fulfilled, that wish will be fulfilled. Now 4K 60 frames a second and 1080p 180 frames a second at least internally, and I think that this is doable. I think that this camera will include these things, the 4K 60 frames and the 1080p 180 frames. I think that it will be in it, so that's not a big question. Now, there is a thing which I'm hoping only, but I don't think Sony will listen to this, because they are not really good in this territory, and that is the tilty flippy screen, Man, I tell you, I don't know how many times I was complaining that Sony's they never want to put a tilty flippy screen like Panasonic have, or even Fuji introduced now with the new XT100, this different type of tilty flippy screen, but at the same time it's really good. It is very important if you are a blogger to be able to turn around the screen, and to look at yourself, Anyway, I know that professionals, they are not doing that. I know that. But in the same time, let's not forget that the A7 lineup is not for professional video. And if you want professional video cameras, you buy expensive cameras. So in my opinion, the tilty flippy screen would be an excellent choice from Sony to include. I hope they are listening, and I hope they will introduce the tilty flippy screen, but I'm only hoping. So that's the tilty flippy screen. The next is the dual SD card slot, both saving video simultaneously. Many cameras, they have dual SD card slot and they save only the photos on the both card, they won't save video. Video will be saved only on one card, and the issue is that the processor is very it's a big task for the processor to save in twice, in the same time, simultaneously, the same video, which is a very high amount of data. I understand that, but Panasonic G5 does that, and Panasonic G5, GH5, sorry, not G5, GH5 does that, and the GH5S does that, G9 does that. They save on both cards simultaneously the video. Now, usually you don't have issue with it, but if your SD card fails, you are in trouble. If you are a videographer, you do wedding videos, this is really important, If you do YouTube videos like myself, it's not a big issue, because if the card gets corrupted, you just film again, and that's it. That's not a big problem. But if you are a wedding photographer, you cannot reshoot the wedding, I tell you. So that would be a good addition to the camera. Now, hopefully they will do that. Hopefully it will save simultaneously on both cards, but this is not sure until the camera will be announced and we see the specification. Now, again, I hope this is the last thing. I hope that Sony will apply the same pricing tactic with like the A7 Mark III, because they priced the A7 Mark III unbelievably good. I tell you, that camera is, at the moment, is the best deal. If you want a full frame camera, $2,000. I mean, what that camera knows, and that's unbelievable. It's a good deal. So I hope that the A7S Mark III will be the same good deal, and Sony will price the same good, this camera like they did with the A7 Mark III. I'm not 100% sure, because the A7R Mark III is not the same price, it's expensive, and probably the A7S, it will be expensive as well. But we'll see. Hopefully they will charge a little bit less money, you know, and they will make it a little bit more affordable, this camera. Now, in my opinion, these are the more important things in the A7S Mark III, which one I would like to see in the camera, and hopefully we will see in the camera. I wait very much for Tokina 2018 because I'm most certainly sure that I will be able to play with the camera and the the A6700 as well, which will be the successor of the A6500. And I'm almost most certainly sure, 100% sure that that camera will blow away the aps-c cameras. I tell you, I'm sure that Sony will introduce everything what they have in that camera, because that will be the last hit, you know, on Nikon and Canon. Now, if Nikon doesn't come up with something in Photokina 2018, they will be in serious trouble, I tell you. I have to tell you, I'm a Nikon user. I use Nikon, I use Fujifilm, I use Panasonic. You know, it's not an issue. I'm not a brand fan. I'm not a Sony fan. I was a Sony user. I at the moment I don't even own a Sony camera. But I tell you something. It's the time is changing, and I think that Sony will be a serious competitor for them, and it will endanger Nikon and Canon. I tell you, if it goes like this, and look, now they just released the 400mm f2.8 lens. They are very serious about lenses as well. So Tamron and Sigma, they joined, you know, the ship, and they design and they make lenses for Sony mounts. So the lens selection, which one, Canon and Nikon's argument until now, oh, we have big lens selection. It's kind of fading away, guys, so you better watch out. Okay, I hope that this video was helpful to you guys. I hope that you liked it. If you liked it, please like and subscribe and share my videos. If you want to add something to this video, something constructive, feel free and leave a comment down below. If you think that I forgot something, or if you have a different opinion, that's not an issue. Please be polite and leave a comment down below. We can discuss it in a professional manner. And other than that, I wish you a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.